Greetings, everyone. How are you tonight? The little magical blip blop right there that we've got. Hey, Dadman Walking 55 here, coming to you now with another night of SEC college football talk. Hey, we are 8 weeks into the season. Actually, yeah, after eight, this should be week nine. Let's see, five more games. This is about 6 more weeks in the regular season here in the Southeastern Conference. Folks, this is quite an interesting year that's shaping up. We'll see some of the standings where the East is a little bit topsy turvy. We don't know how that's going to play out, but hey, on the Eastern side, but yeah, it probably should still play out the way we expect it. The West is looking to be boring as predicted, but hey, you never know what's going to happen. That's why we play the games. That's why we have to see what happens and let it all play out. But the wonderful thing, though, that reminds you about college football season this time of year is how old you're getting. Yeah, and how old you're getting and how fast life is flying by, because I tell you what, this season has flown by like many of the others that we've had. But as usual, I always have a stellar guest lined up with me on these Thursday nights. This guy is coming back to defend his undefeated title from last year, has spent over a year brooding and peacocking it, and all for the wonderful fun and bragging rights. It's a great Mark D with a C. Hey, Mark.
Hey, yeah, good to see everyone. Hail, Dadman. Yeah, I mean, I'm not much of a college football expert, but I was perfect last
Yes,
year.
you
But that was
were.
an easy week, and don't want to get too cocky. Was that the first week or the second week
It was probably about the third week. I think you were
or the
the
third
third
week?
guest because I think it was a Mrs. Squeaker than you. But you were
Okay,
early in the season. But it doesn't matter anytime. But you still had
yeah,
12
but
games to
still,
go.
and I went against the spread a few of those picks too. I think, if I'm remembering correctly. So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Although we're not doing this for gambling; it's just for fun. But
exactly.
yeah. So
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
how are your Gators been doing, Dad man? You happy? Not happy?
I am
It's your
actually
favorite team, right?
surprised. I am actually sort of happy. Uh, this time, it's I have spent all the off season and all negative about the team and the coach. And actually, I was so bad. I originally had the Gators going like 3-9 this year. That's how negative I was. But then I sat down, thought about it, and I got them about, I think, look about 8-5 or something, 8-4,
Yeah.
something in there. A little more reasonable and fair with it later. So um, it was actually pretty stunning how I did that. And now, as they've started the season, they've actually won some games I didn't expect them to. They're sitting at 5-2, and we'll see where they
Five
sit in
and
the
two,
SEC
right? Yeah.
East. Yeah, they've had some very bad moments, some very bad times where I had to walk away, but they're not. But still, you have to be happy with what's happened. I mean, you got to give them credit. You got to give the coach credit. Uh, as much as I still have my doubts about him long term, but you're 5-2. You beat Tennessee at home for 20 years in a row, which is really 10 games, because they play every other year at home. They all away, but it's still great thing. Some great things have happened, and some bad things have happened, like that disaster at Kentucky. But at least they didn't lose to Vanderbilt this year.
But you could also be a UConn football fan, which isn't so good. UConn's
Oh
much
man,
better at basketball, but yeah, everyone thought they'd started to turn it around last year, and I think they're
yeah.
1-6 right now, unfortunately. Or
Oh, I thought they were having a better year this year, though. That's
no,
what's
there's
too
been a
bad.
disaster. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Unfortunate, because one of my
crazy.
son's football coach is
Mm-hmm.
the tight end coach for the team.
Yeah.
So and they lost last week by one point. So yeah, it's not not going well. Yeah,
Oh man. Well,
unfortunately.
yeah. It's
But yeah,
that's
but if you're a fan, you gotta you know go root for your team, right? I mean, no matter what. So
Yep, that's what you do. That's what you do,
yeah,
because you
a
know what?
real fan.
There's some people out here in the chat that I know are having really bad years. So, but hey, shall we go ahead and talk to the chat real quick? We got a few
Sure,
people
yeah.
out here, and it's leading off in the leadoff spot is a great Snortopoopas Cuber. Hello, humans and other critters. Good to see you, Snortopoopas. Now he says he's starting his pre-snooze time with a nice bagel and cream cheese. We'll see how long he lasts before he falls out of the bear chair. Uh,
You go to football.
exactly. We got JT Kirk. Hell, JT Kirk, a fan of Michigan State from the Big Ten country, who really is having a bad year this year for multiple reasons, on and off the field. But JT, I don't know if you found out they've had to. There's a bunch of things going up in Michigan State, and just fired the coach, and there's issues back and forth with that, and now there's out of Michigan, the Wolverines. Apparently, this story about spying. It's
Yeah,
like
what
a
was they
stealing
saying? They
spy.
were. I was watching that. They said the guy was the coach was giving Harbaugh the plays, like telling him what the next play was from the other
Yeah, there's
team.
right.
I mean,
There's
part of the like my son was a D back, and the other he knew all the signals, and he
mhm.
knew what the play was from watching film. And then like one game, the coach started yelling at him from the other side, like "Stop calling her," and the other our coach yelled. It's like if the player can figure it out, like he was a captain on defense,
Yeah,
and he would know what the play
mhm.
was. Well, of course, the formation obviously
Right.
too, and from watching film. So that's the one thing about football where if you're a smart player, you can really make a difference. So I mean, it's like steal. It's one thing to like steal signs. I mean, isn't that legal? I mean, versus actually like having someone a spy listening in over the radio or something. But if
See, I don't
you put up
understand that.
those,
I don't understand it either because years ago you always had scouts. Everybody always scouted the next team. So, and that level, I don't understand what the big deal is. But apparently, what it seems like this is that it became almost a racket where they would actually go out and send the information around the country to other people and stuff like that. Like
oh, okay,
it was like
yeah,
a big formal operation, and it just but we'll see where it goes and where it heads. Because I'm like you. My thing is, I am tired about baseball players and teams whining about that because that's always. I mean, it's like the missus' dad could count. He was good about counting cards. See, he and my dad could read slot machines, but gambling houses would not want them there because
yeah.
they lose.
Well, and
But
baseball was different when it
yeah,
was they had someone on the other on the team in the outfield and in the stands with binoculars
yeah,
catching the signals from the bat from the catcher to the pitcher and then telling him what the pitch was. But I mean but if it's the player on the field, that's why they always cover the signals. But they said when you have a runner on second, they always have like multiple signals and it's like
you're
the
right.
third one of the four. But that's part of the game. But when you have
But
someone using tech or
right,
binoculars or the famous
exactly.
shot heard around the world, that was the
See the
Dodgers had the pitch.
if people can read it in the normal course of the game, then that's on you, and it should be part of the game and stuff like that. But not yeah, the like you
Not
said, the
exterior
tech, the
tech. Yeah.
binoculars, the people that. I mean, it's one thing to have to do it on the spur of the moment on the field when you're having to play and do everything else, but if you're sitting in there and radioing in the signs and stuff, that's
Yeah, or
yeah
using
that
like an Apple Watch. I guess they had
yeah.
Apple Watches that they were using in baseball at one point, or to like get the because that's a big. I mean, you still have to hit the ball. That's the thing too. I mean, look at batting practice for the home run derby. I mean, they're tossing in fastballs, and not every hits a home run. So you still
Exactly.
got to connect, but it's a big advantage in baseball if you know it's a
Mm-hmm.
curveball or a fastball
Oh yeah,
just
you
for the
know what's
timing
coming.
or a change up. So that makes a huge difference. And of course, football, yeah, like my son he knew he knew when the plays were coming. It doesn't mean you always stop it, but if you can figure out what the play is, that's a huge
Mm-hmm.
advantage. But
Yep. Um,
that's interesting. Yeah,
Absolutely. And I'll say hello to Joseph Dredd. Hell, sir. Good to see you tonight.
hell yeah,
And we've got Martin D with a C here. Obviously, he's in the panel too. And so the missus is here. Hello, missus. How are you doing tonight?
hell.
We got to play a little bit of Fortnite earlier, so that was kind of cool. A little thing. Oh, my.
I got to catch up on my
Oh,
Fortnite.
oh yeah. Well, we'll have to do that soon. JT Kirk said, "Yeah, no one here plays by the rules. MSU with their coaches' investigation, U of M with the sign stealing. You'd think this is New England Patriots up here." Uh, yes, and Joseph Dredd, I heard about that. Yes, I heard about that. I've that was an interesting thing to see. That was Yeah, exactly. So they've had Mao and Che up there in the past. Yeah, so it was an interesting thing. Let's just say that we'll leave it there. Caused a lot of hubbub around different places, but as JT Kirk said, it could have been blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yep.
goodness! So we've got 6 people watching us tonight on the Twitch side. Make sure you follow us over there on the YouTube side. Hey, come on and hit that like button, everybody. Subscribe if you haven't checked to make sure you're still subscribed. Make sure you're still getting the notifications because weird things happen on YouTube these days. We've been bouncing between 494 and 495 the last couple of days, so we will prevail eventually. But hey,
Yeah, the more subs you get, I find that I'm always losing one like or two. It's just I think people go off YouTube or their
yeah,
bots or who the heck knows, so they disappear. And then the more you have, then that happens more often. But then hopefully then you get more subs too on the other end. But
absolutely. Absolutely, and we
yeah.
got some new things coming up on the channel coming up. We talked Battlestar Galactica last week. Was a great stream. We got a. I'll talk about it. We got a couple new fun streams coming up. One tomorrow night, and then one on Sunday, and we'll talk about this a little bit later. So, but
Yep.
Mark, my friend, you were here last year. So since then, have you been to any football games since you were here last?
Syracuse
Syracuse.
football. And
Oh
I'm
man.
pretty sure. Yep. And I'm going next weekend. I'll be at the Syracuse game. So who's
Wow.
Syracuse playing next weekend?
Well, we'll look that up.
And
But
yeah, I'm going.
how was the event when you went? Was it big crowds? Syracuse is a
Well,
little bit
Syracuse
better
is.
than they've been.
Yeah, well, last year they had a good team, and then unfortunately with the transfer portal. I mean, I love the transfer portal and I hate the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
Love it the same. So when you have a really good team like that, um, then Syracuse isn't top of the game anymore for football. Unfortunately, they're more of a basketball school, but of course they've had some of the greatest football players in history. Of course, Jim Brown
Mm-hmm.
was their quarterback, one of probably the greatest running back of all time. He's in the top 5. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
or there's people that would say he's the greatest football player in history. And then
Yeah.
uh,
Was
also who's
Ernie?
the other running
Was it
Ernie? Yeah,
Ernie Davis? Ernie
Ernie Davis.
Davis?
Yeah, so of course he tragically didn't he tragically pass away
Yeah, I'm not sure, but
from leukemia, I believe. Yep. So I
oh
don't think he
man.
actually get it. He was going to play with Cleveland. Yeah, and he was the first Heisman Trophy winner, who first African American to win the Heisman Trophy in '61. So it was a whole, we're not going to get
Mm-hmm.
into that, but there was, of course, the whole movement towards desegregation, in the '60s, Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
But he made the College Football Hall of Fame. I'm checking his page now. It was 79, and then the Ernie Davis, the Express Ernie Davis stories, the
Yeah.
movie. But
Well.
tragically, he never. I don't think he ever played a game of football. But there's a beautiful statue of him outside
Mm-hmm.
the stadium. So if you're talking, about the football experience, so for years it's been the Carrier Dome. But
Right.
of course, Carrier was named after invented air conditioning, but it never
Yep.
had air conditioning in the Carrier Dome until 2 years ago when they renovated and put a whole new roof on. So they put it was really cool. I don't know if you want to show a picture of it, but
Yeah, I don't mind the Carrier Dome. That's a
yeah,
place of iconic memories of basketball,
yeah,
football, and all. I know the Gators
yeah,
went up there once under Spurrier, and it just got trounced by the Orangemen back then. And I'm
yeah,
sorry, it's always the Orangemen to me. I know that
yeah. That's
they
all.
changed
Yeah.
names, and it's like
No,
it's
the
just
Syracuse is
crazy.
still the Orangeman. Yeah,
No, they're orange. They're the orange.
yeah, orange. Oh, they
Yeah,
call them the orange. They don't call them
they
the
call
orange
them
man.
the orange now. Yep, exactly.
That's ridiculous. That's stupid.
Yeah, I know, but it's part of the times and whatever. Yeah, because the Syracuse Orange. Yep, that's on
Yeah.
ESPN site right now. But yeah, if you got pictures, that's fine.
Yeah, well, I just show from the
Yeah.
Googles, but here's I did take a few pictures during the game. But one year we were there with the vid,
Uh
and you had to
huh.
wear your stuff,
Oh,
your
and it was
coverings
spread
all the
out.
time.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was not fun. And then one group of people kept drinking the whole time. They kept saying, "Put your coverings back on." I'm not using the word, obviously. They
Yeah.
snort, and like we're drinking, we're drinking our beers. So that was kind of
Very slowly.
very slowly for the whole game. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So here, I'll share. Let's just show a few. It's just from Wikipedia, but you can see how.
Yeah.
I think they had the biggest indoor basketball crowd too.
Yes, they did. They did. If you want to blow that up a little bit,
Yeah,
you
well, that
can.
one. Yeah, so this is. Oh, let's just go. Well, top moments. Let's see if it. Oh, now of course now it went away. Here, let me go back to
Yeah.
that. Back to that page.
Well, I'll pull it down
Well,
to
here, no,
you.
here. That's okay. Yeah, no, that's
Okay.
all right. Yeah.
All right.
Well, just you get an idea, but
Yeah.
it doesn't let you zoom in that much on these. But what they do for basketball, you're on one. This is one side, and they pull in another set of stands, so you're in only half of the court, but it's
So,
massive.
so this stadium never had air conditioning in it till a
No,
couple years ago. Now, folks,
no,
that yeah, there's the transition there between the.
yeah.
Mark, can you click on that picture and see if that
Let's see
will
if it lets
make
me.
it
Let me see
larger?
if it open like a new tab. Sometimes if you do that, it'll.
There you go.
Let me pause it. Yeah, well, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's Syracuse,
Yeah,
but
but see, folks, that's what they do because they got the temporary bleachers up here for the basketball to the left, and then they had the football out on the rest of the stadium. So, because I know Florida, it used to be a hell of a place to play because the Gators went up there once and just got manhandled when Don McPherson was the coach many years
yeah,
ago. So, yeah,
yeah, and it's fun to see this picture because I was asking my son like how never I'm a UConn fan for
mm-hmm.
basketball.
Oh yeah,
And
you and the rivalry with Syracuse, yeah.
yeah, so big rival in Bayheim and Calhoun, but I was like, where do they put because the basketball? And then they show, yeah, they just cut it and they put, I guess these are padding or something down to protect it, and obviously then they put the basketball court. They got a way to do it, but when you're on TV, it doesn't look. They never show this view on TV. They always show the TV cameras and
Yeah.
stuff are right there, but it's still got an incredible atmosphere though. And I guess I don't know if they have like this is the student section, but then one time I guess they're talking about one time doing it like in the middle and just having like 60,000 people there for college basketball game. I guess you get so darn far away though, but we sat like right around here when we went to the football game.
Those are nice
Yeah.
seats. Right about
So
the
it
50
was
yard line.
yeah, it was good seats, and the students obviously get to go for much cheaper. You can buy like a package.
Yeah.
Of course, with the vid, like they got messed up because they lost they lost some of the games. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But,
Well, my kid's up at the University of Georgia, and they get to buy like 3. And last year they got the Tennessee game, which was huge. And then they got this year they got South Carolina, which we were up there. They didn't get to go to that game. They were able to unload it, but then they have Ole Miss as the next game they have with Georgia. So, which we're going to talk about Georgia this weekend.
yeah.
Big game this weekend. But hey, yes, it's a Carrier Dome, and I tell you,
not anymore. Teams, actually, I got to say that it's not the Carrier Dome anymore. After 42 years, they bought Carrier out, and now it's some kind of it's JMA Wireless Dome, which is horrendous. But
what in Dadman's world, it's still the Carrier Dome. I mean, my gosh.
No, it is. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's just
so. This
crazy.
is when it opened, but now they put this new roof in. Oh, here's the new roof. It looks gorgeous now. So it's like the old roof was just inflated with air pressure, so you had to have revolving doors, and there was no AC. Mm-hmm. So then when they got the new, they put this new roof in. You don't have to have revolving doors. I guess it's a permanent roof, or I don't know what the structure. What it's like it's a new dome. I think it's fabric, but it's held up, so it doesn't have to have the the air pressure. So it was a really cool thing.
What is that thing on the top? Is it like put a roller coaster up there, or like a people mover
you can
thing
go,
on it?
Like we play Fortnite up there. We go up there and we do the rail riding. Yeah, but that was that was the before, and let's see, was there before? Yeah, so this is before when you had like it was an inflatable roof. It was actually canvas.
Yeah.
And then this roof now that they did it, it's I don't know what they call it, but it's or how they describe it, but it's now they can have they added air conditioning, they can have they don't need to have the revolving door. So one thing that was interesting before they did that, you couldn't have big trucks or things load into the dome because you had to keep the doors, because the roof could collapse. So, so this is pretty cool. Actually, you can see this picture here. And my son lived actually, like 2 minutes from here. You could see, his dorm was like up. I think that, it doesn't matter where. But so the great thing about this is college experience is, you can go to a concert or go to a game, and you just walk. As a student, you just walk down there, and it's a huge, it's a huge
Mm-hmm.
place. It's not like you're going to like a little tiny, tiny place. So there's a lot of school spirit there. We can
Now,
see
can you
that when
tell a difference between the roofs? Does it have does it appear different? Now
it
inside.
seemed kind of the same inside, but
Yeah,
the advantage, I guess, is they don't have to worry about it collapsing, and I guess it's more permanent on these edges here. And of course, there's a ton of snow up in Syracuse too.
yeah.
So
Because I was wondering about that because there was the Minneapolis Metrodome. I think had a collapse many years ago.
yeah, and the Hartford Excel Center had a
Yeah,
major collapse too, and thank God, um, no one was in there when it collapsed.
right.
Yeah,
So
so yeah, JMA Wireless. Let's see, with the new roof. But yeah, it's just interesting, and I think it's the biggest in New England, or the Northeast. It's the biggest stadium, I think, on college campus by far. So
mm,
football's not that big. Of course, then you've got Foxborough Stadium, obviously, but
college football's not that big up there.
no.
We actually had Boston College come down to an ACC championship game, and I swear there were like 25 members in the band. It was like I mean, it's just like it was like man,
Yeah.
you could tell. Then they wonder
Yeah.
why none of the Southerners went to watch a team from the Northeast play football. So, but that's
Yeah.
nice. I mean, yeah,
It's a nice
love to.
it's a nice nice place. Yeah, so that's it's an interesting. Yeah, so what do they call the roof? Yeah. So orange paint, let's see. But they spend money on, which is good too, and it brings money to school. That's the other part of uh you know uh upgrading the facilities there. So it's
Yeah,
much yeah, so it's not an air supported roof, yeah.
right.
So yeah, it
Yeah, I
was,
can
but
I
yeah,
can see
he's
that
having fun
important. I
there.
just wonder what that rail is for though.
I guess
That's
it
kind of.
holds up. I guess it holds up, the roof then. So it's
I
holding
wonder.
up.
I wonder if there's like
There's
wires off
there's
of it.
wires. Yeah, there's all
Yeah,
kind. It's tough to see on the interwebs, I'm
yeah,
sure, but there's wires that go in. Yeah, see these
yeah,
cables,
yeah,
and it holds everything up. So it's
yeah.
but it's cool
Well,
though. It looks really cool at night too. I have to say, it
yeah.
looks really
Nice,
nice.
nice college looking buildings, but gosh, that place looks like it's like crammed and busy. You know,
It's not too bad. It does look busy around there, but
just
there's
all
a
the
really nice
different
park.
buildings. Yeah.
There's a really nice park like right around here, so everyone does tailgating like right around here, and there's squares, and of course the statue of uh Ernie Davis is right. I mean, you can't see it, but here, let's show that Ernie Davis statue. I mean, we're talking college football, so might as well. Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so he's one of the all-time greats in college.
Mm-hmm.
And so here's his statue. So I was kind of pointing to where that was in the quad. Let's see
Mm-hmm.
if we can read the inscription. If I click on this is a Syracuse article. Okay, probably my privacy. Yep. So I'm trying to see if they have the inscription. Yep. Yeah, never played a single game of professional football. Yep. No, they should give you they should share the inscription there, but
Hmm.
it's a really sad thing for someone like
Yeah.
that to pass away so young before they even got to yeah, so here's that's that corner, that's the
Yeah.
dome there. That's
Oh
that
wow.
corner. So everyone walking by to get into the dome goes by this statue, which is very
Mm-hmm.
nice. I mean, it's a nice tribute. Yeah, so Heisman winner, yeah. And he was God, can you imagine him playing with Jim Brown
Mm-hmm.
on the same team? How good they would have been together, yeah. So but yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's the fun thing about college football. Even if uh, you know, uh, you don't you love your team and you go to and you have you're tailgating, you're having fun, you're hanging with your friends, and yeah, it's nice to win the game or having a winning season, but there's also a lot of fun uh, to have. Just the whole experience there, and marching bands and all the
Hmm.
traditions and things that everyone has.
And
It's
I
a lot.
will say that I do miss Syracuse being a national power because in the late was it mid '80s, mid to late '80s, early '90s, they were actually under Donovan McPherson. They and Donovan McNabb was the quarterback. They really had some
Yeah.
legitimate teams. They were affecting the national title picture many times. And before we had a playoff, all I remember is good old Pat Tie Dye at Auburn because he would always play for a tie, kicked a field goal in the Sugar Bowl to tie Syracuse. And I think it was the one blemish on Syracuse's record that year, and it made Don McPherson so mad. But
Yeah.
hey, Pat Tie Dye. That's why they call it. He got the
Yeah.
name that way. But
Right.
yeah, it is, and it is it is sad to see that they're down at the levels that they are. And hell, to small town republic. Yes,
Hey, Small Town
Pat
Republic.
Dye is a legend. Yes, he is absolutely. Which
Well,
was
what was interesting was, with they've got a bunch of players in the NFL right now and some good
mhm.
good defensive backs. But last season, the running back was really good, so he left for the transfer protocol, and some of the D backs are really
Oh
good. So
yeah,
that's the bad
that
thing about the
transfer part.
transfer.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, it can get you some good players, but then you could also, since they're not a uh, great team, they're going to go. I don't know, almost don't like blame the players. Like one of the guys wrote this long article about how much he loves Syracuse. It was, how great it was, and
Thank you,
yada yada yada.
thank you,
And
Paul
this,
Pesci.
but I'm go
Yeah,
ahead.
Joseph Jared would correct me. Yeah, Paul Pasqualoni is the coach with Donovan McNabb. Donovan McPherson was before that. So, but yeah, thank you for that correction on there. But I just remember the two of the, that's the name Paul Pasqualoni I'd forgotten about. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
No, I was just gonna say that. Yeah, then it's like he says how great, and I don't blame the kids for transferring, but it's like it's been awesome here, but thanks and see you later.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
but that's but they can make more. They can
well,
make money on NIL contracts now, and I mean it's their career too. So
it's like it's become, and the fear of a lot of people had is like unrestricted free agency. Everybody can pretty much move nowadays and everything
yep.
at will. And like the Southeastern Conference, the SEC used to have a rule where you could not transfer within the conference you had without sitting out a year,
Okay,
but then
yeah.
they got rid of that, because of all this other stuff that's coming up. Hey, Stunning, good to see you too
Nice stunning.
tonight. Yes, and it's caused all kinds of. It's changed the landscape of college football. I mean, we're not talking about amateur athletics anymore.
No, it's
And
not.
then the bigger schools, which can get the NILs or not, like the University of Florida had one with this quarterback to come in this year, and it fell apart, and he got mad and ended up at Arizona State. Uh, it does not always work, and then your other schools may use them, some don't. There's a debate like at Clemson. The talk is that Dabo Swinney doesn't want to do transfer portals and NILs and stuff, but Clemson's now struggling, and as you said, you have a decent team at Syracuse, which normally could have been built and expanded on. Guys leave for a better
Fun.
program, a winning program, or for more exposure, and it's like, how do you do that? One example is Sam Hartman, the quarterback for Notre Dame. He was playing at Wake Forest the last few years, made Wake into a pretty decent team in the ACC. So then I guess his last year he goes to Notre Dame, and there you go. Can completely
Yeah,
change the landscape. You can't, and it makes it hard. That's one of the beauties of college football is always you had that and you expected to have your players for 4 years, and now you don't.
you don't. Yeah, because and we went to the bowl game. We went to the pinstripe game that they have in Yankee Stadium with
Uh-huh.
Syracuse. They made a bowl game that a decent year, but then all the guys went to the transfer portal, and the quarterback was hurt, and the running back was gone, and so it's like the team was there, but it wasn't the team there, and my son was like, "Oh, this is great. They're making the bowl," but then there's no one. There's a lot
Yeah.
of the star players are gone.
And that's
Unfortunately,
another
but
thing with that's a topic of something that I'm trying to have get a show on down the road with somebody. I'm working in the schedule of talking about the NIL deals and the conference expansions because it's all changed the landscape of college football. Bowl games don't matter anymore. It's what people said from
Right.
day one is once you start having this playoff thing, then the bowls are irrelevant. And now what's happening is players aren't playing the bowl game.
Yeah,
You
they
can
don't play
under,
in the bowl game. Yeah, they don't
and you
play
can
in the game.
understand you can understand them. You can understand them, but the problem is the fans are getting ripped off because they're paying, like Clobby says, like the preseason NFL games. You're paying full price for basically an exhibition game where the real players may not even play, and
Yeah,
it's
we're not happy about that. I mean, but
no.
on the other hand, I'm like, I understand why they're doing it too. So
Well,
it's
I respected one of the Gator players who a couple years ago could have, he could have sat out the game. He didn't, and he had one of the best games of his career. That game and actually improved his draft stock by playing in that game.
but who was the player that got hurt a couple years ago and tore up his knee? One of the running
That was
backs or
there's a quarterback for Ole Miss.
quarterback or someone got hurt real bad or
Yeah, there
then he
was
made it back to the NFL. I'm trying to remember, but
well, Tua got hurt in the regular season. There was one the Ole Miss quarterback. Gosh, Matt Corral. He got
okay.
he got hurt in the Sugar Bowl game, and but he's not gotten off the bench in the NFL if he's even still on a roster now. But he did get drafted. But yeah, it's just a chance that people take, and it's sadly the thing is the people you want to support that take that chance, the ones that end up getting hurt. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
which then feeds into the thing of, well, why risk it? Why play the game? But then you go into the competitive spirit. Do you play? Do you not play? And I mean,
Well,
how
there's
do you
too
not?
much money now because, like years ago, you football players had to have two jobs. I mean,
Mhm.
football was a part-time job for the guy, most of the guys, unless you're
Yes.
the big, So you had you look at the old ads, like we live in the area where the New York Giants were or the Jets,
Uh
and
huh.
the Giants used to practice at Fairfield U, where I went to school. They didn't have a fancy practice field anymore. And
Hmm.
a lot of the players in the offseason, they worked either selling cars or car dealerships, or they were painting houses in the summer, or
Right.
helping people move. I mean,
Yep.
they had to have other businesses. It was like
Yep.
working other gigs.
That
So
was always the way, find a way to employ the college students. And hell to E. Clay Thomason. Good to see you tonight.
yeah, yep.
Yeah, thank
So
you for
here's
coming in. Yep.
some of the top, or there's all the Syracuse players in the NFL. So of course
Hmm.
Larry Zonka, Donovan McNabb, Art
Yep.
Monk, some Daryl Johnson, David Tyree
Oh.
caught that. That was the last catch. Was the winning the helmet catch in the
Oh
Super
yeah.
Bowl to beat Tom Brady.
Yep.
Yeah,
That was the year that New England was undefeated, wasn't that?
yeah. New
All
England was
right.
that was that was so Larry Zonka was happy about that. The Syracuse
Yep.
guy, yeah, because no one gave the Giants a chance there. So uh,
Yep.
Brady
I
would have two
understand
more
that.
rings if it wasn't for Eli Manning and crew. Yep. So
Absolutely. And I don't like the Giants, but then again, I like that they won those games. So in the
yeah,
NFC before AFC.
and Peyton Manning. If you ever watch ESPN when they do the Manning brothers on Monday Night Football, the
Hmm.
second feed. You ever watch that? And Eli always drops that in, like I beat Tom
Yeah.
Brady twice in the Super Bowl. He'll just like subtly drop it in, and those guys are fun to watch. Talking football together and talk about a guy that's career is taken off after the NFL. Both the brothers, but Eli Manning. Everyone loves Eli Manning now. Back then, people respected him or liked him, but not. They didn't get his sense of humor, his style. So,
Hmm.
um, and did you? I think I sent it. You remember when he went to try out for a college football team and
Yeah.
he
He
put
did it
makeup on
incognito. Yeah.
Chad
Yeah.
Chad and said he's talking about him, and then he's throwing the ball around. The coach is like, he's pretty darn good. Yeah, you got a future Hall of Famer throwing the football around. They're kind of, then the coaches were kind of going, wow, this guy could be good.
Yeah, I bet you. Well, hey, speaking of good, Small Town Republic said that
Yeah,
Syracuse has produced a lot of broadcasters.
that's for sure. Yeah, their school is famous up there, and
Is
Mike
that sports
Tirico.
broadcasters or just all broadcasters?
I think especially sports, but
Uh huh.
also broadcasting too. And my son
Uh
is
huh.
actually in the sports. analytics program up there.
Right.
So he's helping me with my fantasy football team and baseball. So he's been doing pretty darn good.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
we won. We won in yeah,
You
we
know,
won in
you do talk on some.
baseball this year.
Uh-huh. Well, you do talk about you know, analytics. That's an
Yep.
area emerging in all the sports. But I tell you what, I am not. I am one that's not will always fight the analytics to a degree because the analytics give us you do take the 2 point conversion just because you're down two, regardless of when you're in the game. I mean, the analytics are good for trends and things like that, but to me, I just still there's nothing like that in-game coaching using your instincts and like take the points, don't
Oh, the
take
two
points off
point
the
the
board.
2 point convert. I hate the early 2 point
Yeah,
conversion. That just that kills me. Especially you see the guys are going for the 2 point conversion in the first quarter. It's like,
right.
what are you doing? It's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So you got Sean McDonough, Bob Costas, and Mike Tirico. My son has met Mike Tirico. He came up and gave a nice speech to to one of the classes there. Yeah. So that's a pretty
yeah,
good crowd of broadcasters, right? To
yeah.
have, yeah,
There's
Marv Albert.
a Marv Albert. Okay, that's a good
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
And let's see, let me go with what you've got because I was trying to see. Uh, Andrew Allegretta. Team Tulane. Okay. Lynn Berman.
Len Berman's a
Okay.
great broadcaster. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody's got Joe Castellano. Yeah, from the Red Sox. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, Red Sox, go Yankees. Yep.
Oh, Aaron Collins. Let's see. Bob Costas. Oh, man.
Yeah, probably one of the big.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
once Ian Eagle
Iron
from
Eagle. Yeah.
yeah,
He
he's
does
really
that.
good.
He is
Good,
actually pretty
good.
good, I will say. I will
Yeah.
say.
Oh, and his son Noah went there.
Yeah.
The Brooklyn Nets. Yeah. Yeah. So my son did an internship for the Nets. What's their? I can't remember what their holding company is, but over the summer, so I got to work with some Liberty. It was helping him
Hmm.
out with Liberty and the Liberty tickets, and yeah,
Yeah.
so it was a lot of fun for him to get that experience. So is that let's see, who's that?
Oh,
Leave the
Beth
queue.
Mowens. I've seen her on some of the
Yeah,
SEC games lately. So,
yeah, and that's part of the sports too. Is that the
yeah.
broadcasters add a
Dave Pash.
lot to the
Yeah.
mix, right? I mean,
Yeah.
some of these broadcasters become, you shouldn't become as big as the game, but it adds a
Dick
lot.
Stockton. Hey,
Yeah,
Dick
yeah,
Stockton. All right.
yeah.
Now he's a good one. See, this is one of those. Actually, it's kind of funny. I thought about trying to put a panel together at some point to talk about famous sports broadcasters.
Yeah.
Like the Keith Jacksons and things
Yep.
like that. The good old classic announcers. Because I tell you what, I don't think announcing is anywhere close as good as what it used to be.
No.
I think sometimes the announcers get too involved in the game and they try to make it about them. And I know the Fox at Noon guy. I can't even remember his dang name. I knew, but he's always like all over dramatic every play, every announce, and it's just like, would you just calm down?
Yeah, well, the
But that is,
problem is they want all the highlight reels, and sometimes it comes natural. You've got to let the
mhm,
game breathe a little bit and
yeah,
let that work. So it's a fine line, of course. Like, do you believe in miracles? That's probably one of the
yeah.
most
That was
famous
just
calls
it.
of my
That was,
life. But it was
but
off
when
the
Al,
cuff.
but see, and that was at a time. But even to this day, Al Michaels is very balanced. When he gets emotional, like he did then, it means something. It's not, but nowadays it's like they got a first down to 2 minutes. I was like, calm down, dude.
And
It's
what's
like
this line to gain now? Why does everyone saying line to gain all of a
I
sudden?
don't. I
Have
just
you noticed that, or is
yeah,
it
yep.
me?
They do the line to gain to
They
get
don't
a
say
first down.
first down marker anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. It's whatever. But hey, see, E. Clay Thompson. I agree. It bothers me when the team goes at fourth down every time. Well, unfortunately, my Florida Gators coach likes to do that a lot. He's been
Yep.
lucky so far. You got the Louisiana Gambler. Les Miles was one known to go for it all the time, and It's crazy. So, and yeah, it's
Well,
unnecessarily
the
risky. But if you're behind all the time, then oh
it
yeah,
was
and
a fun.
Syracuse is losing right
Oh,
now.
they're getting
They're
destroyed.
yeah,
Ouch. My
they're
son's
on the road
probably
at
there.
Virginia Tech.
He's probably
So
there. He's oh no, they're on the road. Okay, now
yeah, they're on the
he goes
road
to every
tonight.
home game.
Next week they host Boston College, so that must be the game you're going to on a Friday night.
Yeah, we're gonna see BC. Yeah, Friday
All
night.
right,
Yeah.
cool. All right.
Oh, they're playing a Thursday night game. Is that unusual or
No, no, it's ACC. Sometimes the ACC teams
sometimes
do that.
Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all gotten crazy. Hey, the Gators went to Utah on a Thursday night this year, and that's the first time I ever had to watch them outside of a bowl game on anything but Saturday. It was just too freaky to me. To me, college
Yeah.
football should stay on Saturday. It should be kicked off
Right.
Saturday afternoon, Saturday at noon, end up at 2 a.m. Eastern time in the Pacific zone. And maybe I like the days in the mid 90s when they brought out one game on Thursday nights. I mean, ESPN did. And that was a
Yeah.
treat to have one game on Thursday to kind of, hey, we're almost ready to the next week and all that. And then, like everything else, it gets saturated. Now you got literally we're in a period, and I can't remember who said it, but they confirmed what I thought, and for how long. We're in a period of like so many days where there's football every day of the week because you have the
Yep.
NFL on Sunday and Monday. You have the colleges that start on Saturday, then they had Thursday, then they had Friday. Now some of the minor, more major teams are now playing Tuesdays and Wednesdays, so it's around the calendar football now temporarily. So
Yeah. I mean, I hate Thursday night football because
Gus
there's a pro game
Johnson,
on. To,
yes, Gus Johnson, thank you on Fox, thank you, Small Town Republic. Oh my God, like, dude, look, Texas, Oklahoma didn't need you hyping anything, dude. Just call the game. That's why I love the old announcers like Keith Jackson, whoa,
Vince
Nelly, or
Scully.
Vince
What's
Scully,
baseball? But
Dick
yeah.
Enberg. Great names like that. I just love those guys because they let the game. They just presented the game and all that, and when they did get kind of into it, it meant something. Nowadays, it's about showmanship and or they're trying to be a comedian,
Yeah,
and
Madden was such a great announcer to listen
and
to
he
with
was natural because he could naturally be funny.
yeah, and he had those moments. It was Madden and who was his partner?
Summerall.
Summerall. Pat. It was a great yin
Exactly.
and yang there. But yeah,
Exactly.
sometimes I go to YouTube. You watch NFL films. You just watch the game. It's so enjoyable. But
Yeah.
it's commentary and it's not, like today with social media. Of course, we're on YouTube right now, but everything's geared towards having those clips and those sound bites. So like these announcers prep like their
Yes.
clips, or as much as I'm a Yankee fan, like John Sterling's home run calls. It was fun in the beginning, but now I cringe almost to want a Yankee to hit a home run because he
I
makes up
remember.
like those sentences, the crazy
Yeah.
phrases about, it's, you know, all hail the judge, which is fun, but like some
Yeah.
of them are so forced. It's like,
Well, I
oh my
remember the
God.
days when John Sterling was just a low-level guy on Turner Broadcasting System when they televised when TBS and WGM were really super stations carrying all the Cubs and Braves games. John
Yeah.
Sterling was like the little guy behind Skip
Oh, yeah.
Carey and Pete Van Wieren and all of them on TBS.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he left and got up into that market there. But it was like and now he's the big guy, I guess. So that hey.
Well, yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's a great announcer. I love him, but sometimes it's just too much. Sometimes the shtick, like the Yankees win. I was listening to that game, the first game where he
Yeah.
said that, and it was like the Yankees won an
Yeah.
extra inning game in like the 14th inning, and he was so excited that like he lost it. So he was like, he just lost his voice because or he did that, and now that's his shtick, which is fine because that was natural. That first one, he wasn't trying to do
Yeah.
that. But then he does it after every. So sometimes it's like the Yankees,
Oh
it's
boy!
like
The
it's
Gators
boring.
the Gators. I don't know if Small Time Republic ever heard the Gators announcer Mick Huber. He retired a couple years ago. I think I'm like, oh my,
Yeah,
oh
too
my.
much.
And it's like, dude, give it a rest. All you say is oh my. Then I hear later, and I can't. Mel Allen was oh my. It's like, dude, you copied somebody else's 2-word phrase, and I don't know, it just was kind of crazy there, I think. But I did, then again,
It's
let
got to be the right time and the
yeah.
right place. I know
Well,
JT Kirk saying, "Yeah,
yeah.
can't stand
Thursday night
Thursday night
football.
football.
Yeah.
Yeah, it messes up your fantasy, your picks, and
Yep.
at least they changed it till fantasy. In the beginning, one of the leagues I was playing, you had to have everything set for Thursday, and then they changed it. Like the Thursday game, you can kind of just ignore,
Hmm.
because then your picks are locked. Once the games start on Sunday, but
Hmm.
they they changed it now for most leagues, but just and for the players too. I mean, you got Sunday night football, now Monday night football, now Thursday night football, then college football on
It's
Friday,
all,
Saturday,
which
and
I
maybe
used
some
to love.
Thursday games.
I used to love it, but it's even I get, even there's sometimes too much. You need a break from it, or it becomes watered down. It doesn't mean as much. So yeah.
Yeah,
Oh no,
it's
they actually
overdone now.
got Dan Mullen announcing a game? Oh my gosh. Well, maybe he needs to do something since he was too busy trying to court the Dallas Cowboys. So,
It's 23-0. I'm looking at now. Yeah,
oh
so
boy. So,
against Virginia Tech.
yeah,
Yeah,
Mick Hubert. I tell you, he did one great call, which was when Danny Werfel hit Chris Dorian to beat Kentucky. Dorian's got a touchdown. Dorian's got a touchdown. But that happened in the flow of the game versus his thing became, oh my, Gators got a touchdown. Oh my, it's like, dude, okay, oh my, it's just but hey. Well, we spent time talking about some cool
yeah.
stuff, hearing about Syracuse. So let's get into and talking announcers, because like I said, that's one that one day maybe I'll kick the tires on and find some people to talk about. I do, and I'm hoping to have something on the NIL and conference expansion soon, but I'm waiting to hear on that. So, Mark, let's get into the meat of our show tonight. While
All
you're
right.
here. All right. So we're going to
Might
take
as
a
well,
look
right? Yeah.
at the things we normally look. We're going to look at SEC football from last weekend. And Mark, just do the best if you take a look at the numbers and the info presented. If you saw any of the games, feel free to chime in. If you see something that gets your eye, feel free to comment, and we'll do it. But hey, remember everybody, this is not a gambling site. This is just people having fun talking about football.
Sports
And plus,
ball.
yeah, and if you try to use me, then you're desperate, because my picks don't usually work out so good. But hey, it's all good. But hey, so just remember that, and we're going to go into last week's action, the big game of the week. The 17th ranked Volunteers of Tennessee went on the road to play Alabama Crimson Tide in Tuscaloosa. Alabama comes out with a 34-20 lead win. Tennessee actually went into the half up 20-7, and Alabama outscores them 27-0 in the second half. Alabama takes the lead in the fourth quarter, then expands it with a defensive touchdown when Joe Milton was stripped, and it was a strip and recovery for a touchdown for Alabama, providing the winning margin. Overall, though, balanced offense, both teams 22 first downs, Tennessee 20 for Alabama. 400 yards for Tennessee, close to 400 for Alabama. Time of possessions, Alabama had a 5-minute advantage, yet committed 2 more turnovers than Tennessee. Jalen Milroe for Alabama was 14-21 on the day for 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Jason McClellan for Alabama ran the balls 27 times for 115 yards and a touchdown. Now, Joe Milton is a battle of two halves for Tennessee's offense. First half, they were productive. They moved the ball. Second half, produced nothing. Joe Milton was 28-41 for 271 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also ran the ball 15 times for 59 yards. Squirrel White, who's one of our residential channel favorite names since last year. Who doesn't love Squirrel? And our late night with Dadman series, we brag about chasing squirrels, but he had 10 catches for 111 yards. Yeah, Squirrel Girl. He had 10 catches for 111 yards and a touchdown in this game. Mark, were you able to see any of this game last week?
I wasn't able to see any of that. I did not. I wanted to, catch it, but didn't have a chance. So
yeah. Well, this is
my brother-in-law went to Alabama, so he's a huge Alabama fan. But he's been He works for in the music industry, so he hasn't been home. Normally, he has a huge spread, huge barbecue.
Yeah.
If Bama's playing, he invites us over. So I haven't had that chance this year.
Oh man, yeah. Because I tell you, that would have been a big game.
That's a big game. He was happy about that one. Yeah.
Well, I know the fans in Knoxville were really looking forward to it and a chance to beat Alabama. They had high hopes
Yeah.
coming into the season. Alabama sort of struggled a little bit with the quarterbacks at times, but what's happened up in Knoxville, they're now concerned about their offense not being able to produce consistently. They had a good half. The second half went the tank, and a lot of the fans want the freshman to play quarterback. Others are like, stay with the senior. And, you wonder what's happened with Tennessee because they now have a running game. They now have what's considered a respectable defense. But the offense is inconsistent. Unlike last year when Tennessee was one of the leading scoring teams and offensive yardage teams in the entire nation, this year they're not the same. It's a lot different of a Tennessee team, and I think they had a lot higher hopes than what they're getting right now. But if you're a Tennessee fan, I still say be patient. You got a great coach, and as he doesn't pull a Mullen and want to go somewhere else, y'all are set for a while, I would say. And Alabama, the thing is that it's a typical case. A few weeks ago, I picked Ole Miss to beat Alabama, and I'm like, I went against my rule of thumb, which is stay with the big dog till they're beaten, till somebody actually does it. When that game, Alabama beat Ole Miss, and so I wasn't going to go against it again against Tennessee. And Alabama, even though Jalen Milroe can be inconsistent at times, he was effective and balanced and steady for Alabama, and they didn't panic at halftime. Nick Saban made their adjustments, come out in the second half, and took control of the game right off the start, and then and through the end of the game. So Alabama with a nice convincing win here. Also, don't ever write people off too early.
Yeah, Alabama was written off, right?
Yep, a lot of
After
people
they
have
lost the game, right? And then they
Yeah,
said they're done, right? Yeah.
yeah, and a big thing is, well, they're not in the top 10 anymore. Well, until the season's over, you don't know till that. It's it's a crazy thing, I will say, but you got to avoid the rush to judgment. A phrase that's used in so many things these days. Especially with a great coach like Nick Saban. They're dangerous when people are trying to count them out. So, again, a lot of frustration in Knoxville. They did get their win last year, and but this year could not repeat it on the road in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. We'll see where they still leads the West with a win like this. That's a very solid win for Alabama and much needed, much needed. So. All right. Well, we will move to the next game, which is Mississippi State or Arkansas, which we probably will not spend much time on this thing. This thing was as ugly as this looks. They did no scoring occurred in the game.
Is that a baseball game? College baseball?
It seems like it. You would think so with that score, but
sometimes those games. I mean, I didn't see this game, but sometimes those games can be good when it's a defensive battle. But this was an ugly. This was ugly. You're saying this is an ugly game. Yeah.
I tried to peek in on this at times, and I don't know if Small Time Republic or anybody else may have peeked at this game, but it was truly. Hey, I think E. Clay Thomason. E. Clay, are you an Arkansas fan? Yes. Yeah, he is. E. Clay, I thought that. E. Clay's, because he said, it was the worst game Arkansas has ever played. In fact, he got their offensive coordinator fired. Yes, E. Clay. Thank you. You know what's great, Mark, since this show started last year?
Find out what people like. Yeah.
Well, and people come into these chats. I love it. I'm here stuck in the SEC East with Florida. I know a few Georgia people, but I Small Time Republic, B from O are Auburn fans. O.C. Dobbins, a Bama fan. E. Clay Thomason is an Arkansas fan. I love seeing fans from the other sides and other teams. It's wonderful. So, yes, yeah, exactly. It was painful to watch. And I don't understand what's happened to KJ Jefferson. He's 19 of 31 in this game, 97 yards. That's not I mean, that's like not even that's challenging 5 yards of completion. And with a pick. And he was one of the bigger bright spots of this team for that last 2 years. And he had a good reputation, but this year it seems like he's significantly regressed. And I don't know, E. Clay might be able to shed some more light on it. Maybe was there a change in offensive coordinators or something that changed? A lot of times when they change offensive systems, bring in new coaches, they change things, and quarterbacks can get in a funk with that. I like Small Time Republic here. I watched some of it. With Auburn's offense, I can't criticize other teams. Exactly. And JT's like, well, still three more points than Michigan State scored last weekend. But yes, in small time, I agree. From what I've seen, he has regressed badly, really quickly. I actually had last season I had Arkansas doing very well, but then they lost a number of games to the bigger teams, so they didn't quite finish where I projected. And this year is kind of you still could they do it, but now we'll see where they're sitting in the standards, the standings shortly. But yeah, this was one of those 7-3 games you didn't want to be a part of. 10 first downs for Mississippi State, 12 for Arkansas, and
boring and sloppy.
very boring and sloppy. You see, I even forgot to put in the passing and rushing yards because it was pointless at that point.
Pointless.
Yeah, it's like it truly was a bad game. And Mike Wright, the Vanderbilt transfer, played the whole game for Mississippi State because of Will Rogers with a shoulder injury. Was 8 of 12 for 85 yards, a touchdown. Also to a pick. He carried the ball 11 times for 60 yards. And then no scoring in the game after the 13:03 mark in the second quarter, which is when Mississippi State scored the go-ahead touchdown. Yes, see right here, a new OC, a new offensive coordinator, Dan Enos, and KJ can't adapt to the new offense. Exactly. So many times that happens. Not everybody can transform and improve. Texas A&M, by the way, changed offense coordinators this year with Bobby Petrino, the old Arkansas coach and the old Louisville coach who came in. And but see, the Wegman who started in the year was not as good, I think, as Max Johnson has turned out to be for Texas A&M. But they've struggled a little bit themselves. You know, anytime you have a new offensive coordinator and the systems change, you more times than not you will have some bumps, but what Arkansas's had is beyond a bump. This is like a crater, like a falling off the
crater.
Yeah, they this truly was a team that last year was stood on the precipice, I thought, of challenging Alabama and LSU over in that side, but for whatever reasons they could not win the games against Ole Miss and LSU and Alabama, and now they've gone into really a meltdown mode. So we'll see what Sam Pittman can do there. And yeah, it is a problem with system quarterbacks. Exactly. Because not everybody's as great as Stunning and Brave. He can transform without a scratch. And this is another thing too. Arkansas has lost several close games, even going back to last year. And that's one of the frustrating things. And you look at a team like Missouri last year, those close losses added up to where they could have been a 10-win team. So, but I think though, even though in spite of the close losses, Arkansas has had enough bad offensive performances this year. It's not the same Arkansas offense the last 2 years, and I think we definitely saw a bottoming out of it last Saturday, because even when they tried a 2-minute drive, it just was, they didn't look the same, and it really was looked bad. So my feel, but I tell you what, to the Arkansas fans, I can feel your pain. As a Gator fan, I worry about our offense from week to week. I really do, because we scored 41 against South Carolina. Yeah, we beat Tennessee, but I'm always leery because of, like, with this coach, that I've always questioned his game day decisions and things when they went up to Kentucky and laid an egg right at the beginning and got too far down and really got routed. So, JT said he would love to see a game in Arkansas. I've never been to the state. Same teams rarely creates the kind of team I can plan on something thinking I'll see a good game. Yeah, we've been through Arkansas. We went through the northeastern part of Arkansas, then we went through the northwestern part of Arkansas, then we went through Arkansas to get back to Memphis. And we saw the Popeye statue. There's a Popeye statue down in western Arkansas. I can't remember the name of the town, but it's south of Fayetteville, I believe. I think it's Fayetteville on the western side. So we went through the hometown of Walmart too, by the way. So, and E. Clay Thompson said our defense is carrying the team this year. Last year was the opposite. Yep. I mean, this is truly the team that if they could get both together, could be an exciting team to watch. But it's a lot to say there. But yes, this game was as bad, Mark, as it looked, and I tried to watch a little bit
ugly.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Ugly.
So, All right. Speaking of Auburn, hey, we're come right into the Ole Miss Auburn game. Ole Miss goes on the road to the Plains and wins 28-21. This game was actually 28-14, but Auburn scored a late touchdown. As you can
Garbage
see,
TD.
yeah, because you look and see Ole
Total
Miss had,
yards. Yeah.
yeah, total yards, first downs, high advantage, 10 more minutes of time of possession for the Rebels over Auburn. Both teams turned the ball over 2 times. Jackson Dart for Ole Miss, 10 of 17, 202 yards with a touchdown and a pick. He ran the ball 14 times for 44 yards and 2 touchdowns. Quidshawn Junkins for Ole Miss ran the ball 21 times for 144 yards and a touchdown. Trey Harris for Ole Miss had 4 catches for 102 yards. So Ole Miss is, Ole Miss is the team that one game they run a lot, one game they pass a lot. This was fairly balanced, but still the edge to the rushing attack. Peyton Thorne, who, if you remember earlier in the stream, JT talked about a quarterback transferring to the SEC, not doing much. That's who he's talking about. Peyton Thorne, the transfer from Michigan State, was 9 of 13 in this game, 100 yards with a touchdown, interception, and he ran the ball 11 times, 34 yards. So another disappointing effort for Auburn, but a little bit more on the offensive side than they've done in some other games, but still. It's going to be a battle for who ends up last in the West is looking like, and we're going to see who that is.
Battle for last.
Yes, there are 3 teams currently in that position, and we'll take a look at that when we get to the standings. So, exactly. I will say there are parts of Arkansas that are really beautiful. We've been through both parts. The northeast side over towards Tennessee really didn't have a lot, but the northwestern side was beautiful. Where P Ridge was the battlefield. We went down through there, and then, like I said, we saw the Popeye statue, and it was a nice state to drive through. Yep, and yep, you called it with Ole Miss. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. So good to see you, and we'll see what JT Kirk did, how he did last week, coming up a little bit. So hey. But no, thank you for like I said, I'm thankful for my Auburn fans, my Alabama fans, and now Arkansas fans. It's, I hope better for your teams. I really, really do. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the SEC going forward, because next year the talk is that they will do away with the divisional alignments. Currently in an east to west format. We'll see a little bit. Let me hold off on that because I'll talk about that when we hit the standings. So
was it someone was saying someday going to be like 2 divisions in college football eventually?
You might as well, the way it's going. It's good.
Someone was talking about that. Yeah, it
yeah.
was like
yeah, exactly. And it's always good when your team has some momentum. So I will actually say that seeing what some of y'all, I'm getting a little more tolerant with my Gators because I still don't trust my coach. But yeah, we're 5-2, and you got to be happy for that. So this game is a paycheck game. The Army Cadets just got crushed by LSU. Hey, Army at least threw for 42 yards. I didn't know they could throw the ball that much, but they committed 4 turnovers. They won the time of possession battle, but LSU wins going away nearly 600 yards of offense, 62-0. Jaden Daniels for LSU.
Why did they call off the dogs, LSU, on Army? I mean, it's just they can't, or they.
Even when you put the backups in, sometimes there's times with the talent is so much different. It just, no matter what you do, you can't help it. Sometimes it's not that you're trying to run it up. It just happens.
I saw that score. I didn't see into the game, and I've been to the Army Navy game a few times, and God, what a patriotic, great event that is. And when Syracuse played Army, it's like everyone's cheering for Army too. So, everyone, because these kids are, they're some of our best and brightest actually, and they're in these service academies that are almost tougher to get into the Ivy League. So, and it's a strenuous program there.
Yeah.
So it's it's like one of the times that no one ever boos or roots against the Army or the Navy.
Exactly.
when they're playing. It's, I don't know if you've ever been to a game. But,
no, I've seen when they've showed a little bit of the intro. I've seen a little bit of the intro, but it had to be even more awesome to be in person. So
Yeah, so it's a different atmosphere too when you're playing one of these teams because
yeah,
I've never seen anyone root against. It's
yeah.
like it's like you don't root against. You're rooting for your team, but you're never rooting against Army.
I
But yeah,
remember
that's
that they talked about. I think this was a Armed Services Day or
oh they did.
a
Oh,
tribute
that's
day there.
cool.
So LSU did that to the camo pattern. It was a
That's very
military
nice.
appreciation day that they had over there also. So exactly. So Jaden Daniels continued possible Heisman Trophy winner here. Brian Thomas Jr. for 3 catches for 122 yards, 2 touchdowns. Malik Neighbors again over 100 yards, 4 catches, 2 touchdowns. So that's pretty much what we have with there. And then a game that actually was not as close as you expect. South Carolina goes on the road and lays an egg at Missouri. 21 Missouri wins this game 34-12 in a game that a lot of people expected could be closer. South Carolina could win this game. Spencer Rattler, the transfer of Oklahoma, is always, it's very interesting what's happened in South Carolina. He's had some big games and he's had some very average to mid games. And again, going on the road, only scored 12 points on offense. Missouri wins, even in first downs, but Missouri, 418 yards to 286. Again, South Carolina does not run the ball well in the game, even though they controlled the clock, committed 1 turnover. But again, Missouri with a balanced attack. Brady Cook for Missouri was 14-24, 198 yards with a touchdown through the air. Also had 9 carries, 64 yards, and a rushing touchdown. Cody Schrader for Missouri had 26 carries for 159 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Spencer Rattler had 23 of 40 for 217 yards, but no touchdowns, but he threw a pick. So, and there's also talk about South Carolina, the turmoil there. Is the coaching staff now on the hot seat? Is Beamer on the hot seat now? I mean, there were rumors last year that was starting to get hot. They went to Florida last year, laid a big egg, but then they miraculously crushed Tennessee with 63 points on offense, then upset Clemson on the road. And it's very possible, JT Kirk, they could be an all or nothing year for them. This is a team that's looking like they could actually give Georgia a contention. It's a shame for Missouri this year they don't have Georgia in Columbia. It's a shame that they have to go to Athens this year. You could tell. So, but Missouri, a lot of people were very skeptical. I know our friend Whoopa Troopa always was skeptical of them, but Eli Drinkwitz looks like he may have turned a corner with this team. Now they're winning games like this that they should be winning if they're going to have a good season. They're winning, they're not losing a game like to South Carolina for no reason. And, it's a good win for Missouri on the road. But South Carolina also, and J.T. Kirk, I don't know if you've heard about this since you're up in Michigan, because I listened to the Sports Animal in Knoxville. There was talk about it today, about some talk going around that somehow that some of the information may have been fed down from Michigan to South Carolina last year before that route that they put on the Volunteers. So that's got some buzz and some rumors.
That's got some legs
going around. That's some talk about there. A lot of the Tennessee normal people are like, we're not even going to go back to it, but you start to hear things. And what was so bad with that, Mark, last year? I watched that game with someone, a Tennessee fan, and it was like they could do nothing. I was like, South Carolina was 3 steps ahead of them the whole year. And this was a Tennessee team that scored tons of points, was not incompetent and not that bad on defense, but it was just out of nowhere.
It seemed something was off.
It just was
lopsided it was.
Yeah. It's one thing to go on the road and get beat or even blown out, but to give up 63 points was just, it was unheard of. And so, folks, make sure we're going to be going about another 20, 25 minutes. So we've got a lot to pull in here. But stay around. There's going to be something coming up before the stream ends and a couple of special announcements that I have that I want to make sure y'all all hear, because we got 80 y'all here. Make sure you hit that like button.
Is there a new flavor of sparkly unicorn ice cream out?
I wish, but no, sadly, that's not one of those. So, all right. Well, let's see where we are now with that game. But no, it's like I said, Missouri, it's coming down, and we'll see now here with this the standings here in the Southeastern Conference. In the East, you can see that the surprise is you've got Missouri and Florida up tied in the second position with Tennessee and Kentucky behind them. That's a reversal of what a lot of the predictions had been. And of course, South Carolina now is 1-4 in the conference, who a lot picked to either end up second in the conference or one or two picked maybe to win the East, possibly. I'm not a big bagel guy, and I'm definitely not a cream cheese guy, but I'm sure Mark would take one. Would you,
Oh,
Mark?
I'd take one, yeah, especially
Yeah,
a great New York bagel. I mean, or beagle.
beagle. Oh, a
He said
beagle.
beagle. Come on, Dadman.
Ah, man,
Beagle,
I didn't.
not a
I was.
bagel.
He was talking about having bagels earlier, so he snuck that one by me. Well,
Bagels and
hey,
lox. Yeah, well,
there you go.
the bear likes salmon, I'm sure. So
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, what we have in the East, of course, poor Vanderbilt lost all the games that they could have won and should have won earlier this year by too many turnovers, but they're at the bottom 0-4 again. South Carolina, is at the bottom also, but Kentucky, Tennessee face each other. We'll talk about that game. They will face off this week. Florida faces Georgia in the cocktail party. Even though they don't want to call it that anymore, but in the Missouri, look at that, 7-1. They're winning the games last year. Last year, this team was probably like 4-3 after the schedule because they kept losing those close games to the middle of the pack teams. So in the West, it's no surprise Alabama, with a lot of people put out for dead after losing that game to Texas,
yeah,
uh, is now still perfect in the
they're in the
league.
mix.
Exactly. They have the lead over LSU. They've beaten Mississippi hold head to head. They've also beaten Texas A&M. So really, it's only to fight off LSU at this point. But Nick Saban is not going anywhere. And there are also people starting to talk retirement rumors too. It was just don't ever bury them till a team till they're definitely over down and you can see them not winning their titles. So LSU is still on Alabama's heels, chasing them with a very bad defense this year. So it's really an interesting LSU team this year. How long Brian Kelly can keep the fans loyal down there in Cajun land, because we will see what happens, especially if they don't perform like they should. They actually, Missouri's one loss was at home to LSU, 49-39. And it was a game that Missouri was up 22-7 early in the game. And some turnovers early made it a competitive game at halftime, and then some bad play at the end of the game allowed LSU to pull away. And otherwise Missouri would be undefeated up there with Georgia, and LSU would be with 2 losses. So, of course, in the West we got Texas A&M right in the middle again. Rumors now, the talk is getting there hotter, and I don't know how much you guys over in the West have heard much, but I've seen some talk with now the comparison of Jimbo Fisher and his contract about after I think it's 67 games. I wish I should have had that pulled up tonight, but he's 2 games. I think it's through about 67 games or something in the 60 to 70 range games. He's 2 games behind Kevin Sumlin, the coach he replaced. The coach who Texas A&M bought out his contract to hire Jimbo
So that
to a big
happens all the
contract.
time, right?
Yeah, hired this guy to this god awful imagined salary and had to buy out where he came from, but buy out the guy you're getting rid of to get middle of the pack. I mean, you don't even want second place with that. You're expecting championships with stuff like that, putting out that kind of money. But hey, there's heat there in Texas A&M, and I would imagine it would get hotter it goes. And then to my poor friends in Mississippi State, Auburn, and Arkansas, especially for Arkansas, did not see this happening this year for you guys. But hey, just bear with it. The Gators had a crappy year like that last year, and it was horrible. And I love my team. I don't know about my coach though still, but we shall see. But you guys have my sympathies because we had a Dickens of that last year. So, and JT Kirk says that Ole Miss is a far better team than LSU. Plus, no Brian Kelly Dame. JT Kirk, Michigan State fan, is not a fan of Brian Kelly from all these years at Notre Dame. I will say that Ole Miss won that game against LSU in Oxford, and it was a really really interesting game. I do think that they're very competitive. They're both what is, LSU's problem is with the lack of defense this year. Their defense is not what it has been in recent years. But so all right, Mark. Any thoughts from what you see here?
Well, I'm just all the early talk about Alabama being out of it, and then I guess today you can lose up to 2 games in college football. I mean, if you didn't Alabama lose 2 games last year and
Uh,
got
they at least a couple, but there was a few years ago where they lost a couple and still won it.
yeah, I mean traditionally it was like, you
Yeah,
one
one
and
loss
done,
and you're
but
out. Yeah,
I guess
exactly.
with the playoff system now, but yeah, it's
But it depends on your conference too, though.
right
The SEC has been generally been given enough grace
because it's so competitive. Yeah,
deference, that teams with a loss or two losses sometimes get in ahead of teams from conferences with no losses or one
yeah, because
loss.
their conference is quote unquote, get angry with me, other conference fans, but
Yeah,
considered the premier conference, like in soccer, like I guess they call the Premier League or the,
uh, yeah,
it's it's so far above, some of the other conferences. Um,
hmm
but I think that's what's I do like the playoff system. I guess they're expanding it next year.
yeah. It's supposed
Like
to be
you said,
12 teams.
yeah. So which will
So,
make it better, but then
but you know
that's
what?
going to kill the bowl games.
In all honesty, you might as well get rid of the bowl system. I mean,
Yeah, I
but
think you should get
here's
rid
my
of it.
thing. Here's
Yeah.
my thing is that here's the problem. A lot of those bowls have been built to do charity fundraisers and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like one that's locally here. So, but folks, there's the standings right there. I'm going to pull them down just for a second. But like the local bowl here does charity and all this stuff and all that with it. So there's public good for what the bowl games mean to represent. But here's my problem: I don't want to pay $50 for a ticket for basically an exhibition
It's
game
exhibition now.
that does not mean, and then the players don't have to play. You don't get the team that you cheered for all year.
Yeah, the players aren't playing anymore, and like we said earlier, yeah, you can't blame them, but
But still, as a
it's
fan, though, I mean,
it's a
I
fan you're
wouldn't.
paying
I,
for. It's like
I
preseason football. Then
yeah,
now they're down to 3 games, and everyone hated preseason foot. Especially if you're a season ticket holder.
hmm
It was I think it was maybe a slight discount, but you're paying big bucks for those preseason games, and then you're giving up your day to go to see
yeah,
a game too. Especially most areas, it's not easy to get in and out.
yeah.
It's like a 6, 7, 8, and then you're tailgating.
$40 to park, things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the players aren't playing, those preseason games, so which is part
hmm
of the problem. That's another whole thing to talk about too in sports, where in terms of
Yeah.
not good football and lack of practice, but yeah. So now they brought it down to 3 at least, but
Yeah.
it was obscene how much you'd have to pay. You're throwing money away for an exhibition game.
Yeah, and
That
that's
was
the thing with
meaning.
the bowl games. See, I used to love watching going to the bowl games, and I'd like to go to in person, but I don't want to end up paying $40 a ticket to watch
Yeah.
Iowa and Kentucky.
And weren't they all on New Year's Day? So I remember growing up as a kid, you'd watch all the bowl games
Yeah,
New Year's Day.
and
That was
football
kind of
was
like,
done on New Year's Day. It was done and
yeah,
gone, and that's it. Now and it'd be one thing if it was just a championship game a week later, but they've got all these other games that I mean, you got several other bowl games after New Year's Day
yeah,
leading. It's just crazy, but yeah,
with all
exactly. And
kinds of ridiculous names
the
too, right?
tradition, yeah, it's more the things that the whole landscape's changing. The traditions are changing, and all this other stuff. I remember all these years was waking up on Christmas Day. It was the Sun Bowl, and then like New Year's Day, you had the Rose Bowl, the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah, Rose Bowl
That's
parade.
that's when I knew. Oh God, I got to go back to work tomorrow because the Sugar Bowl was on at night, or go back to school the next day. But yeah, but hey, all right. Well, thanks everybody for being here. We still got 8 people watching with us. And hey, stay tuned. We got a couple of special announcements coming up, very special announcements. So let's
Yeah,
this is
we
where
gotta roll through this, I guess.
yeah,
We
we
love
got
talking, so we yeah.
we hit some big things tonight. And there's some other topics. Like I said, some of these things are topics for down the road that I'd love to do. Finding the right time to squeeze some of them in. But there's the standings, folks. Like I said, surprise with Florida, Missouri up there. The West is looking pretty well as predicted, and we shall see what will happen there going forward. Looking around the country at AP Top 25, the conference has 6 teams in it. The lowest ranked being Tennessee, who fell 4 after losing to Alabama. Missouri's up 4-16. Georgia, of course, holds on to number 1, even though that number 1 slot is margin is dwindling because Michigan's getting more first place votes. Georgia's getting fewer first place votes, but so people must be dropping Georgia further down than 2 because that makes no sense. But then, of course, the issues with Michigan that's in the news. Alabama is back in the top 10 at number 9. Ole Miss is number 12 in the country. And the AP top 25. Looking around, you got your Big Ten, Pac-10s. Personal note, Beavers. My Beavers are 11. They're about to get in the top 10. Come on, you win the Pac-10 12 in the last season. You deserve it because don't let the traitors win the conference.
What about
JT Kirk's favorite?
Dion's team?
They were hot. No, they flew off. They fell off. But Notre Dame, JT Kirk's favorite is 6-2. But yeah, actually, last week we were live. They were playing, and Dion's team collapsed. They had a huge lead, and they lost. They were down even 10 points in the fourth quarter. Stanford forced overtime and won it in double overtime.
Wow!
Exactly, Snortapoopas. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Mark. Good to see you now.
Hey, Lisa.
And welcome. So let's look at the coaches poll now. Again, the same 6 teams. Generally, both polls, everybody's position. Buddy Hepburn. Hey, there's Buddy Hepburn. He's coming out with the Stanford Cardinal pride right there. So, hey, good to see you guys. Hey, better late than ever. But, hey, and if you've been lurking, wonderful. Georgia has a little more of a margin here in the coaches poll, you see, but Bama's up to number 8. Ole Miss is at 11. Beavers are number 12. I really want them to win the Pac-12 this year. They just, the Pac-12 championship game should be between Washington State and Oregon State, period. I don't care records or whatever else. These I'm trying to not be profane because it pisses me off so much. All these bastards leave the conference.
These wagons.
Why should they get to play for the conference title this year? Why? Play it with Oregon State.
It's their wagons to get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. Don't let the door hit you in the arse on the way out. And we got, hey, Lisa, make sure you get, oh, yeah, she already threw the mushrooms to Snortapoopas. But anyway, like I said, all the teams are pretty much the same that are in here in different variations. One unique thing is James Madison made the top 25 this week at 7-0. The team that went on the road and won in Charlottesville, upsetting the ACC Virginia Cavaliers earlier this year, are now in the top 25. Yes, and hey, Jack Wagons, there you go.
He was a good president too.
Exactly. All right, folks, we got 8 of y'all here. I think there's probably 40 of y'all. That's what I'm going to like. But hey, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and we'll fight the algorithm battle again. But what's most important is you guys are here with us. Go back and watch our shows that we've been doing. Last night we did a Daisy Blossom. I talked about Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. It was a wonderful time with that. Some of our late nights hanging out with friends has been crazy. Go watch us on Wednesday from last Saturday night. If you get about an hour 45 in and start watching when I started to bring on Hungry Boy, it was a comedy of errors between him, me, and the missus. And it was just, I heard it's gold, so I've got to watch it. So,
didn't your internet go out too a few times, or?
No, actually that night, no, it didn't. No, this was, I had the tab muted the whole time.
Oh, the tab mute time. Yeah.
Yeah. I was by myself. I was fine when I didn't have to hear anybody else, but go watch it. It was a brilliant. There you go, Lisa. Yeah. Exactly. Classic Dadman moment. Hey, but hey, this week in the SEC, there are 5 games this week. Mississippi goes on the road to the plains of Auburn. Florida Georgia game is here in Jacksonville, the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. And I will keep repeating that. I do not care what the universities think because damn you, it's what history is. 21 ranked Tennessee goes on the road to play Kentucky. Vanderbilt is on the road at Ole Miss, and which my friend and I had a great name for Ole Miss, but I won't say it on air for y'all. Think of a word that rhymes with miss. And South Carolina is on the road at Texas A&M. So some good games, some average games, but it's kind of a mixed bag this week. Let's take a look at the Mississippi State and Auburn game, folks. We see 2 bad offenses coming into this week. and it's probably going to be a painful game to watch. But then again, Mark, sometimes when oh gosh, Lisa Wagon, where's the drinks?
Yeah.
An old diss? No, not a diss. No kiss? No, not a kiss. But this game could, it's easy to rush to say this will be a horrible game with two bad offenses, but you never know. This is like it could be a game that could be a track meet, a shootout, and a good game. Both teams come alive. You don't, it's kind of weird how these things happen sometimes. So, again, Mississippi State depends on the health of Will Rogers at quarterback. Auburn has got a chance to pick up a no snort, no, not that either. But yeah, this I will think Auburn has a serious chance of picking up the first conference win in quite a while this week with this game, especially with the health of Will Rogers in question, and with being at home this time, they played pretty well at home. A lot of games they actually took Georgia to a wire. They took advantage of early turnovers and miscues. Really challenged Georgia until late in the game. So we got that. Tennessee's on the road at Kentucky. This is a game that is scaring some of the Vol fans now because the struggles that they've had on the offensive side of the ball. But they're confident going to win. Last year in this game, Kentucky was riding high into Knoxville, and Tennessee just clubbed them like 41-6. It was like 44-6. It was just the butt stomping. There's no love lost between Tennessee and Kentucky. Neighboring states, they hate each other. Tennessee fans don't like the chirping of all the Kentucky fans. And then, of course, Kentucky thinks that they did something by crushing Florida's running defense that goes into the buzzsaw in Athens and gets humiliated pretty quickly to be told basically where you are. And then, but Tennessee is a question mark with their offense on the road, but we shall see what shall happen in this running game versus running game in this game. Vanderbilt goes on the road to Ole Miss. Again, Ole Miss, dynamic on offense. Vanderbilt better than they have been in recent years, but not as good as last year record wise. Just a team that doesn't seem to have enough defense to be able to stay in games. The offense is competent at times, but not enough of it to compensate for the defense. And Ole Miss is obviously running, passing, doesn't matter, whatever. When they get on a roll, it's a track meet. So, oh gosh, look at that. They did say it at the same note. Oh, sis. No, y'all are both wrong. So, and the pinch poke and a Coke. Okay. Yes, because down south everything's a Coke. Don't say pop, cola, or whatever. It's all Coke. Florida, Georgia.
No Pepsi.
No Pepsi. Pepsi's banned. But Florida, Georgia. This is a rivalry of rivalries, especially here. I'm trying to look at something, and I know we've got to look at time, and we'll get to the picks in just a second. I wanted to look at something real quick. What we have, this series is both teams disagree in this series about one game. Georgia claims to have won, Florida disputes, but overall 54 wins for Georgia, 44 wins for Florida in the series with two ties. Currently, the win streak is 2 games in a row by the Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia's largest margin of victory was 75-0 in 1942. Longest win streak was 1941 to 1948, 7 games, which to me was insane because that was insane because as in the 70s, thought Georgia won every year. Misses. The Gators' largest victory in this series was 47-7 in 1996. You and I went to that game. Yes, it was a 7-game streak, 1990 to 96. My uncle got me, the terminal manager, got me tickets. And what was so interesting with that game, Mark, was it was hot and humid Florida day at halftime, in the first half. Right about halftime, a major thunderstorm blew through. And it wasn't the type of like nowadays where you send people to shelters. You just sat.
No one went to shelters back then.
Yeah, exactly.
70s, there's no such thing as shelters.
Exactly. We just sat there. But the problem was Well, I did get to cuddle the missus a lot that day because that temperature dropped 30 degrees and the wind
Hey,
picked
this is
up
a
40
family
miles an
show.
hour. I just said cuddle. I was keeping her warm. That's all I was doing. But yeah, everybody was huddling because Florida had no, it was hot. You don't take jackets and stuff. And then all of a sudden it's like winter in the second half, which was a hilarious thing. So that, yes, great season for Florida. Absolutely. Bad season for Star Trek Voyager. Thank you, JT Kirk, for slipping that in. And yes, Kirby Smart was on the 1996 Georgia team. And you know what? Will Muschamp was on the 93 or 94 Georgia team, which actually played in Gainesville, which is a game I got to go to in this series. 2 years that Florida Georgia played in did not play in Jacksonville recently, and that was because of the renovations when the Jaguars are awarded the team. They had to move, so they went home and home. And Florida won both of those really, really big margins. So, real quick, because I know we little
Yeah,
things.
we're coming up against the clock, unfortunately.
This series started in 1915, believe it or not, with Georgia winning 30 with Georgia winning 37-0. And during the Spurrier years, it was really dominated by the Gators for quite a while. And for over the course about 20 years, Florida had a domination that like returned the favor, because in the 70s, Florida only won twice. 3 times. Let's say 3 times in the 70s, but as a kid, it was traumatic. So this game's had plenty of moments. Herschel Walker, all kinds of things. There's a lot of history in this game. Hey, Disney Sheep's Herder. Hey, good to see you tonight. How are you doing? And see, the missus said it was freezing. That went from like 90 degrees in October, which is hot. You get an 80-degree day here in October. It is hot. Hotter than like 100 in the summer. And then it went to near freezing in the evening. So, but that's the game, folks. That's the big game of the week for me. So we're going to get into our picks right now. Last week, JT Kirk was 5-0.
Yeah, I hear he's perfect.
He's perfect.
The captain doesn't make a mistake. Yep,
exactly. And I was 4-1. We just that one game at Ole Miss. Yeah, he got it with it. So, overall though, I'm 54-12. Our guests are 49-17 with that. So we will move into
a fact to follow now. God,
I know. Well, hey, no pressure, Mark. By the way, Mark's trying to protect his perfect record. So remember, this is not for gambling. I got to find that
screenshot from last.
This is not for gambling. You're just having some fun talking about football and things like that. So hey, with the Week 9 picks, we got Mississippi State at Auburn. The misses might be now. Let's see. You take Auburn, and I take Auburn too. Why did you pick Auburn in this one?
I'm not a huge, I'm not Mark the Greek, but I just try to do my research and just reading about the game. And, I just went and what was the spread on this one? Not that, as we keep saying, it's not gambling, but it was, it was pretty,
it's pretty close game.
Tight. It was pretty close. I think it was 7, but it just felt, I think it was a 7-point spread. Mm-hmm. I think. So that was my, Auburn's 3-4, obviously, but I don't know, just an Auburn slumping, but you think that they're going to pull out of their slump eventually, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was my thinking that they would, and from reading all the egghead analysis, but Mississippi State's not a great team either, right? So it's but then it's home too, right? So it's at Auburn, so you figure. So you think that you're hoping, in terms of making your picks, that that all plays out. Yeah,
exactly. And one of the deciding factors to me on this one was the health of Will Rogers, the starting quarterback. He adds another dimension of competent passing that makes Mississippi State a much more dangerous team. If he plays, this could be a different pick, but
he's still questionable, right?
He's still questionable from what I've seen. Is probably not likely with a shoulder, but you never know. But so I'm going to the instinct or the thought that Mike Wright will be the quarterback, and I'm going with Auburn also at home because they've had good games at home. They play competently at home, and like I said, this could be a game where both teams get healthy on offense and score and move the ball. All right, our next game is the big game of the week.
Yeah, Mark I know who Dadman picked.
Mark, why do you do this to me? I mean, my whole house is Georgia now. Both kids, the missus.
How could you not? How could you not pick Georgia on this? I mean, it's like the first year I played fantasy baseball and I picked all the Yankees, and then I got crushed because you got to pick the best player at each position. So,
Yes, I got you. I got you. Uh, well, the problem is rivalry games. You never know what happens. I know Georgia's
yeah,
number one in the country. They've earned it. They sit there and all that stuff, but just never know. And I tell you what, I've been hard on Napier. Still have my doubts and stuff, but I've seen some improvement in some ways. I wish that I don't understand why the defense has gotten as bad as it has. But if he will let the quarterback throw the ball and throw the ball early to set up the run, they cannot run the ball behind the chains. They've got to throw to set up the run. It's not what he likes doing, but when he does it, they are successful. When they're forced to throw the ball, they're successful, like in the end of the game last week where they came back to win with no time left. So this is probably and Brock Bowers, the big dominant tight end for Georgia, is not playing. He's out with injury. So, you never know what happens in a rivalry game. And I took the Gators against Tennessee, although that game was at home. And I'm probably stupid, but give me the Gators. Give me the
all right.
Gators.
Well, this is where you can. That's where you make the points too. When you get
Georgia
those,
could run out of
everyone
its luck.
goes one way.
And Georgia's been historically this last 2 years a very slow starting team. The danger is this could be a game they come out really.
And this is always at a neutral site, right? This is
in
Jacksonville.
Yes. And if the Gators can stem the early onslaught, if they can just not fall behind, if they can stay in the game, not like what happened at Utah or Kentucky, if they can just stay close, give themselves a shot in the fourth quarter, they could make a game of it. Because Georgia, they're better, but still they're without Brock Bowers on offense. It'll be interesting to see how this team performs. So, all right, then we go to Tennessee, Kentucky. Mark, you take Tennessee. Any particular reason?
Tennessee's ranked, obviously, right? So
Nope.
Tennessee versus Kentucky, and I'm trying to remember what was the deciding factor in that one. Let's see, what was the? Well, of course, let's see. Trying to remember here looking at my research here, but I don't know. Just basically going on the rankings there, and just looking at that, even though it's at Kentucky,
right?
I'm trying to look through my notes here, what I thought what I thought of that game. But
I'll go ahead and talk about mine while you're looking. Then,
yeah, I'm looking at my notes.
Yeah, I'm going for the Volunteers also. Tennessee, Kentucky's quarterback play is very sloppy. As long as Kentucky does not get on track with its running game with Ray Davis, like they did against Florida, they become very one-dimensional. If you can force them to throw the football and get them behind like they did at Georgia, you can. They don't throw the ball well. The receivers don't get open well. It just comes down to Tennessee. Can they establish the run early? Will Milton make mistakes on the road again? Like, second half at the second quarter against Florida on the road, the second half against Alabama on the road, and the team just did not produce it on offense. But I look for the Volunteers to go into this game. They hate Kentucky. The fans are up. The players are up. And they remembered the talk last year, and they sent Kentucky home. Now this week, they'll get to go to Lexington and face the Wildcats.
It's only a 3.5 spread, so it's a tight game. But most people are going with Tennessee there. Yeah, and as you were talking about the running game, and Wildcats have 13 ranked run defense. So host the number 21 Tennessee Volunteers, the 7th ranked run offense. So that'll be an interesting matchup as you're talking about. But
exactly.
That game. It sounds like that game could go. That could be a tight game. Yeah. So
the game against Florida, that's what Kentucky stopped Florida's run game really early in the game, and they kept trying to run even though they couldn't. Instead of throwing, but they fell behind.
Just
but
switch up your game. Yeah.
But we'll see what happens with this. Yeah, Tennessee has developed a running game. Last year, they were more known for throwing the ball down the field and big score, quick offense. This year, a little bit different of team, and the fans are up there are kind of restless with it. But, hey, the thing is win the game at the end of the day. That's what we come down to. These last two games we won't spend a lot of time into. Mark, you took Ole Miss. I did too. Um,
Yep.
to me, it was just because it's Vanderbilt.
6-1 versus Vanderbilt 2 and
Yeah.
6. Yep. I
And
mean,
Vanderbilt had its chances early in the season, but it'd be funny, if Vanderbilt went on the road and knocked off a team like this. But I just think Ole Miss has way too much offense. Vanderbilt's defense is just not good.
yeah.
And that's the big key I see with that.
Yeah,
Um,
that should be an easy knock on wood, an easy pick. Yeah, but
absolutely.
yeah, because Vanderbilt hasn't won in the SEC yet this year, right? So
Nope. They're back to their old stumps. They won two
back
games against Kentucky and Florida last year, but they're back to their old ways. So
that's gotta be so depressing to be in a team that's always bad. Like the
yeah,
my son was getting recruited for the NESCAC and Bowdoin College. Like I think they hadn't won a game in like 3 or 4 years or something. And they're trying to recruit him. Of course, there you're going for the academics, but I'm like, Charlie, he's like, do you want to go to a team where they haven't won a game in 4 years or whatever it was? I mean, it's got to be
wow.
because those athletes, no matter what, D1, 2, or 3, they're working their butts off there. You're working hard and going to school, and so
Is that
yeah,
the
it's got to
Bowdoin
be rough
College? Was that the Bowdoin
in
College
Maine.
of Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain?
Their
Bowdoin
D3
College.
school.
Well, yeah, Bowdoin College. You remember
Yeah.
Gettysburg? Uh, Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain. He was a professor at Bowdoin College.
Oh, okay.
So
Nope, I didn't know that. Yep.
yeah. All right. Well,
So,
cool. With that little history thrown in tonight. See,
little history. There we go.
you don't know what you get on this channel. We chase squirrels all the
Yeah.
time and get all kinds of interesting information. So let's hit the last game real quick because I want to bring the misses on before you leave.
Yeah.
Okay. South Carolina at Texas A&M. We both agree with Texas A&M on this game. Do you have a reason why you think Texas A&M in this one?
I'm trying to look now. My memory is just so.
Yeah.
Let me call it up now. I did, I did actually do my research. So I did actually, like I did last year.
Mm-hmm.
I was just reading about the games as much as I can. Even though, like, if you don't follow a team,
Mm-hmm.
you're reading about them. Of course, South Carolina is 2-5. Texas A&M is 4-3. I'm looking at their what was the analytic prediction there. Of course, one thing I always look at it. Yeah, is it home or away? Right.
Yep.
You always got to take that into account. And let's see, what was the take there? You go, Dadman. I'm going to see what I'm trying to remember
I'm
why I
taking
picked
Texas.
Texas.
I'm taking A&M at home because Kyle Field, the home field advantage that they have. South Carolina is as the problem is South Carolina is so Jekyll and Hyde right now that you don't know what you got. Even within the game, Georgia, they were up 14-3, then ended up not scoring the second half, lose 24-14.
Oh yeah, and they give up more than 30 points a game. That was one of the stats I was
they have no
looking at. Yeah,
their lines are depleted. They're not very good either on the offensive or defensive line with the ball. A&M runs the ball very well. And it has some dynamic receivers when the Max Johnson gets them the ball. So a lot of it comes down to that. And Spencer Rattler is only one guy on the team, and he did it well against Florida last week in a losing effort in a game that they should have won, but they didn't. And I mean, so it's a very up and down team this year.
And Texas A&M is ranked. Their defense is ranked 10th in the nation too. So that's
historically one of the better defenses in the country, not just SEC.
Always like defenses, yeah. So
exactly. So that's what we've got for this week. Mark, thank you for being here for so long.
I hope I stay perfect. My goodness gracious, I got to keep up JT Kirk's record going too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the competition beat me 2 weeks in a row by being perfect. That'd be something else. But hey. But Mark, I do want to say, because I know you have to go, and what I'll do my show announcements and let you slide out. But I want the missus is about to come on for a second before you leave. But do you have anything else you want to say before you leave? Talk about Clubhouse that's coming up.
Sure.
In
about
20 minutes.
So of course everyone knows Clobberin Times and the Clubhouse with Raquel. So we'll be on at 10 p.m. So I got to do a little, not show prep, but just slide over there to get ready and
JT,
maybe get some healthy snacks in between. And
yes,
then,
make sure you get those snacks. That's important.
No chips, so maybe I'll get a healthy apple. I've been
no chips.
The doctor's been yelling at me for you got to lose some Wait, too much clam pizza lately, but
Snacks
yeah, of course.
are amazing.
Yes, they are. Yeah. So hail to the missus. So yeah, it was Sunday Night Geek Review part 2 of Comic Con. So check that out, and I've been posting a lot of shorts again from Comic Con. And if you remember
Hello.
American, hello. If you remember American Gladiators, I had
Hmm.
Laser was I caught them like they were getting interviewed on TV, and I had a clip of that. And he's 61 years old, and he looks like he's still built like a tank, so he's flexing up. So check out that short. That was fun to catch that moment at Comic Con. But I'll be headed over there on the clubhouse soon. So catch that out once this is over. Yep.
By the
Okay,
way,
wait.
JT, if you could put the clubhouse link out there for me. Yes, ma'am, Mrs. Go ahead.
I've got to apologize. I did a Dadman. I
What did
was
you do?
I was listening to the YouTube stream, so I
Hmm.
was commenting on the YouTube stream. So I
Oh,
was
out
so
of
I was
order.
saying, and I'm going, "What's wrong here?" And I'm like, and so I just put a Dadman. I'll do it today and not later.
I've done that before too. Yep,
Oh,
yep.
it's like, oh my gosh,
Why
Yes.
isn't everyone list? They're all ignoring me.
that's what I was like. What is wrong with these people?
Oh,
That man
you.
sleeping on the couch tonight.
Oh
Yeah.
man, hey, you
Well,
should have seen what we did on Saturday night. That was
oh, what?
a joy to
On the
behold.
couch? What?
No, no,
Oh,
the
please,
stream,
please.
the stream is like.
Gotta watch the phrasing here, Dad, man.
Well, no, I'm
Well,
talking about.
well,
Because I said we gotta watch what you did on the couch, and then yeah,
well, I
No,
know
I
Mark.
mentioned
Yeah,
the couch. Yeah.
I
I
know
thought I
Mark
said
needs.
stream, but go ahead.
I know Mark. You said couch. I know Mark needs to leave, but I wanted to comment to something Lisa asked about it being a new avatar, and it kind of
Yeah.
leads into what I'm going to share. Yes, it is. This is an avatar that my youngest made um, for me. I had requested it, and the reason why I needed a new avatar is because I'm going to start streaming, and oh crap, I've got. Oh shoot. I lost my it's too stressful here. It's too
You're
stressful.
okay. Just
Uh,
breathe.
so my picture didn't come up. So I'm going to start streaming, and I had talked about this, but I wanted to share that here's the official slide of me. Of my stream, my
Awesome.
official announcement, and I requested Ang to make me an avatar that looked like a minifigure. And
Cute.
so I am a little Lego minifigure, and I just think it's adorable. And so that's going to be my avatar for that. My first build is going to be the start of Doctor Who. I looked up the prices that it's selling for now, and I,
It's very
I,
expensive.
I almost changed my mind because we only bought it. We bought it at regular price, and I'm seeing how much it's going for now. But
Did you buy it recently, or did you buy it a
no,
long
no,
time
no,
ago?
no. I bought it when it originally came out.
Oh yeah, it came. Yeah, well, it was only $40 when it came out, I think,
That's
or
what I'm
something, right?
saying. That's what I'm
And now
saying.
it's like $300 or something, or
Yeah, you can
five
get
hundred bucks.
well about I would say 200 up.
Okay.
Depending on how bad you
Yeah,
want.
depend.
But
Yeah.
anyway, I'm going to start streaming. My first stream is going to be on Monday, November 6th. Um, and since I enjoy Doctor Who, but I am by no means an expert on it. I have a hard time remembering things and remembering names and stuff like that. So I'm going to have Hungry
Who?
Boy on with me to be my Doctor Who guide and to help me, talk about the show more and stuff like that. So.
Awesome.
But yes, so we're going to start there. I, unlike Dadman, do not have the same address for all my things because I couldn't get them. So you can subscribe to me at YouTube at Mrs. Dadman Walking 55. Period. There is punctuation and numbers on it. At Twitch, it is Mrs. Dadman Walking with no punctuation and no numbers. Um,
There isn't
so
actually another Mrs. Dadman Walking 55 out there.
I tried to get it and it said it was taken. Now, to be honest, I might have done it and I might have taken it, but I don't know
You can't find the account.
because I can't find it.
Yeah.
And on Rumble, I'm also on Rumble, but I'm not going to be doing anything on there, and I am Mrs. Dadman Walking
Well, you
55
can
there.
do for Rumble. You can just have a copy over automatically. That's what I do with my videos. So you could set it up so it goes to Rumble as a backup too.
Yeah,
After
Yeah.
you stream, yeah.
right.
Mhm.
I'll probably do that. But anyway,
Yeah.
this is my first. Thank you, Lisa. This is
Very cute.
my first stream. I'm excited. I'm excited about it. I'm nervous. I'm already
Well, watch
sweating.
out for the dialects
I
Yes.
know. I
and the
know.
weeping
And
angels.
the
They're very
weeping
dangerous.
angel. Yeah. Yes. Yes. They scare me. They're the one things that are really creepy there. Um, but yes. So anyway, I'm excited about it. I'm good. That's how I'm good. What I'm going to start with. I've got some plans for the channel. I've been thinking about it for quite a while. I was supposed to start about a year and a half ago, but stuff happened and prevented it, and then I just kind of lost the mojo. But now I'm really excited about it,
Mhm.
and I hope people come in and watch it and enjoy it. I hope I can do YouTube streaming a good well because I'm nervous. But
Oh,
thank
you'll
you
be
all.
awesome on it. Yep.
So
Yep.
that's all I wanted to come on and
And
say.
Snortopoopas is clapping the paws for you. So
Thank you. Um, I hope to see you then, and I will let you know some more of my plans that day of some of the plans I have for the channel, and just learn a little bit more about me. I know people know a lot, but just kind of share about myself and things I like and stuff like that. So I
Mhm.
hope you guys come.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
think I have scouts that night, but I'll try to be there later. Yep.
Well, well, thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well,
Okay.
Yeah, and
Mark,
that's a great kit. That's a great kit to start with. Yeah, that'll be. You're gonna build the whole thing in one night, right? So
Oh
you're gonna.
yeah, probably
Yeah, yeah.
not.
Right.
Probably
You
not.
might be able to finish. You might be able to finish that one though. That
It's
might take. That might. That's like an hour and a half to build that one, I think, or 2
I'm
hours
thinking
at
I'm going to
most.
sort the pieces out first and then have
Yeah,
that ready and so but yeah.
it's not
So
too bad of a build, but it's a really cool
yeah.
set.
Yeah,
Really cool set.
I
Yeah.
am looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. And the thing is I'm not just going to be I didn't put Lego building at the title because I'm not only going to be doing Lego sets because there's a bunch of brick builds out there, different ones, and oh my gosh, some of them are just amazingly beautiful.
Oh
Um
yeah, yeah,
they don't cost as much as Legos. And so I
yeah,
can
yeah,
afford to do a lot of different things. And I'm just
yeah.
looking forward to it. And I'll tell people what I think about the different companies and their kits
hmm
and stuff like that. So thank you
All
guys.
right.
That's all I have to
Good luck.
say.
Yeah.
And you have
Thank
a
you for
great
thank you for
show.
making that announcement while I was here.
Oh, thank
Yes,
you.
yes. And Mark, thanks for being here. I know you had to slip out, so I'll go ahead and make my
Yep.
channel outros. But everybody go follow Mark D with a C and go watch the clubhouse in a little bit. But stay with me for a couple more announcements there. Mark,
Yep.
thanks
So I'm
again.
gonna
And
slide out now. But yeah,
yes,
thank you
sir.
for
Have a
having
good
me,
one.
and catch you all later. Yep. You'll get a
Absolutely.
lot of me tonight.
Yeah.
Wow,
All
aren't
right.
you
There you go.
lucky? I guess. I
Yes.
don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always fun with you, Mark. That's why we
Yes.
stay up
All
till
right.
2 o'clock in the morning on Sunday nights. So,
Right.
yeah,
All right.
right.
Catch you guys later.
Okay.
Congrats,
See
missus.
ya.
Have fun.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Bye.
All right. And that's the great Mark D with a C. So, Mrs., no
Mhm.
need to be nervous. You got this. You're a natural for this stuff.
Oh, thank you.
And you have the prettiest hands on the internet. How
Oh,
about that?
no, but thank you.
All right. Well, hey, exactly. Maybe not as good as the the bear paws, but hey, bear paws to support you. So, you want to say anything else before I do outros, or is that pretty much it? Or
That's really all. I'm excited about it. This is going to be like I say, it's going to be a bunch of stuff because I didn't want to just sit and talk. I wanted to do something that I like to do, and I really do enjoy doing brick builds.
yeah,
Um, I just think they're fun.
because you
Uh,
had asked me about doing some more of the chill streams at night, so you can keep
so I
building
can
that.
so I can finish the bear house.
Well, we may see what we do later tonight or tomorrow. We'll have to see because there's a lot
Yeah,
of stuff going
yeah,
on right now.
oh,
So,
absolutely, yes.
all right. Would you want to stay with me while I make some announcements here?
Um,
Yeah, well, one of them involves you. Why not?
okay, sure.
All right. So let's get, because I'll be brief with this, folks. Next Thursday night, the great AFK Bard is scheduled to join me.
Yes.
We've been talking about football and we're really down with that. And we just love that. And this will be a great time hanging out with the cool AFK. So come join that. Not a typical football guest, but hey, that's what I do with these shows is talk to football, to the non-football, and people have more football experience than they really realize or think that they have or give themselves credit. So yeah, Snort Poopas has huge paws and long claws. There you go. So join us next Thursday night for this. Even if you don't like football, come hang out with us and listen to AFK, and we'll talk about memories and stuff like that. But please, definitely come support AFK and our the appearance here, and that we can have a good time and have a lot of people here and just have fun hanging out together. And you never know when a Dadman boomer it. So that is Thursday. Looking at, we are all the way. Wow. This was week 9. So next week's AFK Bard. Then we have Admiral Teague the next week and Whoopa Troopa, followed by the last week with Lorena Creole on a Tuesday night. So, hey, folks, make sure you join us for this. It's fun. And Friday night, tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Make plans to be here. I'm unveiling us. We got a special stream tomorrow night. It's going to cover some topics. It could be out of this world. You never know what you're going to find. You never know who's going to be behind these 3 question marks. So find out tomorrow night who my special guests are and find out what we're going to announce on this channel. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern. So join us for that. Also, on Sunday night, this is the fun one, Mrs. Would you like to talk about this one?
Well, we are going to talk about Halloween candy. The good, the bad, and the epic. And I don't know why your screen, the title, the slide is not correct. I messed it up. But it doesn't matter. It's Halloween candy. The good, no, it's missing words.
Oh, yeah. The good, the bad, and the epic.
The good, the bad, and the epic. And we got a lot of candy. And I went through the candy today. And I separated it for all 3 of us. And Ang, me, and Dadman, and we got huge bags of candy, each one of us, so we don't have to go trick or treating. But we have all these different candies to try and to talk about, and everybody have their memories of what their favorite candy was and what their worst Halloween candy was. And so if you guys come on over, you can share your candy trick-or-treating experiences or just what candy you like and don't like. But it's going to be Dadman's going to be there, obviously, with me, Hungry Boy, and we have a surprise guest. Yes, we have a lot of surprise guests, but you will just love this guest. It will be so great. And it's at Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and Dadman's channel, and we hope to see you all there.
Yes, and folks, make sure this is going to be fun like they always are. This one is nice and sweet. I can't wait to get into the candy after it's done. So, but everybody.
We have someone that showed up. We have Agent Atwood.
Atwood, hey, what's up? Atwood, good to see you. Yes, good to see you. So, and like Eclay says, good night. Lisa's laughing. But hey, we got 9 people here with us. Make sure you've hit that like button. So next Wednesday on the 1st of November, I've got Chilling with Just Another Red Shirt. He'll be here. We'll be talking some animation stuff or animated cartoons. So, come in. I'm looking forward to this guy. This is one of the people that I go back the longest of ever having talked to or interactions with in the YouTube circuits. I think it started around like the typical main channels and stuff like that. But this is a really cool guy. Great to hear him and great to talk with him. And he can sing good too. So make sure you're for that. And yes, he definitely is a good guy, a great guy. And yeah, thanks for thanks. See if I can hit the chat him on me. Yes, thank you, Atwood. Appreciate it as always. So with that, and then also watch us for whenever we go Fortnite live impromptu many times. Late nights when we go impromptu, and apparently we may be doing some more very soon so the missus can finish the build. And with that, folks, chill chats or something also come up randomly as I feel like to, I didn't want to talk or ramble. So, but as always, the live streams are on youtube.com, twitch.tv at dadmanwalking55, dadmanwalking55. Also follow me on Twitter at dadmanwalking55 with the football banana. And that's it. Those are the ones with that name and that avatar. And anybody else is not me. So, Mrs., thank you again for coming on for a few minutes. Exciting about that. Exactly. We're going to say next Thursday, but here's what I'm going to close with here.
Oh, yes.
Proud of you, honey. And
Thank you.
this has been a long time in the process. And also, join us tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, for a big reveal, but also make plans November 6th to be with the missus. So, everybody have a great night, and we will catch you later. Bye, all.
Bye.